them have been on the street demonstrating. What's your response to that?
Well, I will say that as observers, there are issues that we have to look into. In the first place, we will base our observation from the reports we garner from the polling stations our observers report from. And also we have had engagements with other observer missions before the elections and after the elections. We have also stayed engaged with members of the civil society and other election observers missions. We have also engaged members of the international community. This is for us to have a kind of a helicopter view of what is happening. Now, our reports, as you have heard, clearly indicates that generally the elections have been conducted in a peaceful environment. This is not to say there have not been cases or incidents of disruptions, of violence, of snatching of ballot box and beavers machines. We indicated in our report that before the elections, there have been incidents of violence, including the murder of a senatorial candidate for the Labour Party, and also incidents in Kano, wherein people were killed. We appealed to the security agencies to ensure that these incidents are investigated as quickly as possible and the culprits are brought to book. We also indicated cases in which, because of the violence, INEC had cause to postpone the elections. And these were all captured in our report. But what is important is that the general atmosphere has been relatively peaceful. And we must commend Nigerians for this great achievement.
What do you say to the people? What do you say to the people who are still on the street, just outside of where we are now holding this interview?
My appeal, as we issued a joint statement, the AU and ECOWAS issued a joint statement, appealing for calm, appealing for peace and quiet, appealing to Nigeria to adhere to the rule of law. There are rules, there is a law, there is a process that is clearly provided for those that are not satisfied with the process to really adopt that route and go through the courts. Now, that is going to continuously be our appeal. You see, what happens in Nigeria will trickle down to other countries. There will be an election in my country in June. There will be an election in Liberia, and for next year, Ghana and others. So that is why what happens here should be referred to as a precedent, especially where there has been a backsliding in our democratic achievements in the West Coast. That is why it's important for Nigerians to look beyond Nigeria, to know that Nigeria has been blessed by the Almighty to be the most populous democracy, to lead in any other thing you can imagine. And we will only continue to appeal for calm. We will all continue to appeal for people to stay within the framework of the law and address their grievances within the provisions of the law.
You mentioned civil society. Young Africans released their report late last night, and one of the recommendations that they've made is a comprehensive audit and investigation to unravel the factors that led to the delay on the upload of election results on the portal, and also INEC should clarify the inconsistencies in some of the results, especially the presidential results from Rivers and Imo State. You think a full audit and then a certain response by INEC to calm tempers, especially regarding...
These are not issues for us to judge now.
Okay.
As an observer, we can only appeal. The political parties, some of them have come out to indicate that they will go through the legal process. We commend them and we appeal to them to rein in their supporters to adhere to that. On the issues of verifications, on INEC not doing X, Y, Z, it is for the courts to determine. As observers, we will continue, especially ECOWAS, we will continue to appeal and appeal and appeal for peace and calm and allow the due process of the law.
You met the top three, that's Tinubu, you met the Labour parties, Peter Obi and Atiku, prior to the declaration of the results. This has been misconstrued by a lot of people that you had certain, for want of a better word, I'm using the word advisedly, a clandestine meeting with the victor, who is Tinubu Ahmed. Under what circumstance did the observer mission meet Tinubu and then other candidates as well?
Now for ECOWAS, we have clearly two mandates. The first is election observation, and that is what we have been doing unto the point of the end of the elections. When elections are concluded, the next mandate is preventive diplomacy. That is for us as ECOWAS and other observers mission who also have a similar mandate to engage the stakeholders, the principal stakeholders, candidates, their political parties, INEC, to ensure that any issue or issues that will emerge that have the potential to cause problems or disputes are managed through dialogue. And we can only engage in a fruitful dialogue when we engage with the political leadership of all the parties.
Yeah.